Call the meeting to order. I appreciate everyone being here. Item 2, the consent agenda. All the following items, which concern reports and items of routine nature, normally approved at HA meetings, will be approved by one vote, unless any trustee desires to have a separate vote on any or all of the items. Consent agenda consists of discussion, consideration, and action on the following items. A, the minutes of the regular trustee meeting, June 25th, 2024. B, the Finance Committee minutes, July 23rd, 2024. And C, the check report, June 9th, 2024 through July 8th, 2024.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through C.
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. I have a motion by Dr. Brown, a second by Dr. Simon to approve the consent agenda. Any questions? Roll call.
Bowman?
Yes.
Burke?
Yes.
Simon?
Yes.
Mossberg?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Hannaford?
Yes. Okay, item 3, CEO's report.
All right, well, we are super excited to be moving forward with the Senior Life Solutions program. We've got the space remodeled, we've got most of the furniture here, both spaces, next door and in the dining room area. Miss Mitzi was here last week. We've done a few interviews. We have 2 of the 3 staff members hired, which is enough to go ahead and get the program started. So they will be onboarding those employees and starting training with them, and we're shooting now for mid-October to be able to open that program. So be thinking, Dr. Burke, about potential clients. They're going to do, I think we talked about med staff last week. They'll come and talk to med staff and kind of give them the parameters of what to look for in an individual that might qualify, and so that we can start kind of canvassing and trying to get some patients lined up for the program. Surgery's going well. Very happy with both Dr. Tupper and Dr. Roberts. We're continuing to work on the financial performance of that program, focusing on charging and billing and reimbursements received, but overall happy with how that's going. The nursing home sale, just working through that process, currently awaiting the abstract and approval process from the state. Equipment, we had a major clean out of old equipment, destruction of records. We talked about that. We did get the Connex cleaned out and have it sold. So we'll use those proceeds to help offset the cost of all of this. Revenue cycle management, we continue to hammer away at that process to make improvements. I actually had a gentleman call me last week, and we kind of worked through that process. He felt like the service had happened in January, and it's July, and he said he just got his first statement. Well, when I start going back through it, he actually got a statement in June. So we were talking about his second statement. And if you follow, we kind of mapped it out yesterday. We did a timeline of what our expectations are, just of how the natural flow of it is. And actually that one was right on target.
No, it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
It was right on target for what you would expect the turnaround to be for, with insurance paying, and then the self-pay getting, he was at 2 statements, and that would have been correct. But we're working on that process, working on setting up some KPIs, some benchmarks, so that we can monitor those more effectively and just try to improve that process. We know that we've got a lot of work to do, and I feel like we've conquered, we give good care. Now we've got to get the confidence in our revenue cycle that people are happy with the billing and how it goes. So we continue to work on that. IT, so Reese has got a big project ahead of him that he's working on. This can help financially to offset some of those monthly maintenance fees that we're continuing to pay on Meditech and eClinicals. is to get that stuff imaged and moved to storage, to quit paying maintenance on those two softwares. So Reese is working on that. And then lastly, we are recruiting for a full-time practitioner in the urgent care. It's just become too much for our mid-levels to rotate in and out of there to cover that. So we are working to fill that position. Does anybody have any questions?
I got one. What is it, I've been asked this before, what's an acceptable turnaround time on a bill? I go see the doctor today, what is,
So what we're
is it
shooting,
6 months, is it 3 months? I mean, I know everyone's different, but.
what we're shooting for is to have the claim, the bill, filed within 5 days. We don't always hit that, but most of the time we're
Out
hitting
of
that.
here in 5 days,
Out of
to
here
go
in
to our
5
billing
days.
company in 5 days.
And so the billing company then sends the bill out. We should then expect to see insurance payment within 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the insurer. Medicare is pretty quick. The others take a little bit longer. But then, so by sometime between day 30 and 60, depending on when it falls in the month, you could be 2 months before you get your first statement.
So if I told people 90 days is that would be pretty
As
safe.
long as the claim goes out and insurance doesn't have any problem with it, we're not going back and forth on any changes, to make it a clean claim, as long as they get it and pay it, yes, because we have to wait on the insurance to pay it, and then it becomes self-pay status. So then
They flip over that.
they flip to
Fine.
self-pay, and they are gonna get, currently we have it set to get 4 statements. So they'll get 4 statements, and then after that 4th one, they'll be turned to collections if there's no effort made to pay it.
And that's standard, not just Alva, right? This is standard how time frames work
The
in the medical field.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Some people do 3 statements, some people do 4.
I need a time frame.
the time frame, yeah.
Okay.
Medicare pays about 14 days, depending on what payer it is.
Okay.
Our revenue cycle manager, she's done a good job at getting clean claims out. Our coders have been, working really, hard. Our registration staff have been working really hard to make sure that everything that can be, anytime we see something that we've messed up on the front end, we're putting processes in place where we fix all those things, whether that's making sure we've got pre-authorizations or all the demographic information, copies of insurance cards, all that stuff go into whether or not the claim is going to be clean. And if the claim is clean, then it stands a whole lot better shot of getting paid and paid promptly. So we're focusing quite a bit on that.
So we meet weekly with TrueBridge, and we've started meeting internally weekly on Mondays to go over all the reports so that we can formulate any questions that we have for TrueBridge to try to hold them accountable before we have that meeting, so that we're covering everything and there's, no surprises. So we're about 3 weeks into it at this point. Anything else?
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve or disapprove and accept the Share Medical Center written report for July 2024?
I move to approve the Share Medical Center written report, July 2024.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Dr. Simon, a second by Mr. Bowman, to approve and accept the Share Medical Center written report for July 2024. Roll call?
Burke,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Monster,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Okay, item 4, CFO's report. Cody?
Okay, for the financials, the operating cash balance for June was $68,885. It's 2.3 days of operating expenses. Our AR was at $4.4 million, which increased about $270,000 during the month of June. revenue increased in the month of June too, for about the same amount, so that's pretty standard. Our days in accounts receivable went up to 9.9. It's quite a bit higher than we'd like, but when we did some checking around, we were told that anytime the month ends on a Sunday
Sunday
or Monday,
yeah.
anytime the month ends on a Sunday or a Monday, your days in AR are going to go up. It's because they're not being worked over the weekend at the end of the month. So we did experience that. So altogether, though, we're still working to try to get those days in AR down to 50 total. We did see some improvement in our third party, but self-pay and unbilled went up. Hospital gross revenue was 2.27 million, and like I said, with regard to the AR, but that was an increase of almost $226,000 compared to May.
And I'm going to throw in there right while you're there is 6 out of 12 months last year, we did hit over 2 million in gross revenue, which is really good.
And that might have been our best June ever. It was really good. Interestingly, revenue was up, but our patient days were down, clinic visits were down, but radiology and surgery both had fantastic revenue months and made up for
It
that.
actually ended up in the black.
Yeah, surgery finished their month in the black. Contractuals, less bad debt, 49%. We wrote off $5,300 for collection agencies. Didn't have any charity care. Our operating expenses, excluding salary, benefits, and depreciation, totaled $607,223, and that's a decrease of $152,000 compared to the prior month. What I'll tell you also, what stood out in June was that with regard to our non-revenue departments, housekeeping, maintenance, those type departments, support departments, compared to May, their expenses decreased by about $150,000. So I think a little bit more, but that there's been a concerted effort to make sure any of the purchases that we're making are getting the proper levels of approval and all of that stuff. And I think maybe we're seeing some of the impact of that. We'll see how July turns out. But wages for June were $503,000. That was about $140,000 less than May. Remember, in May we had 3 pay periods. Net operating loss was $82,000, but our total net profit after non-operating revenue was $27,844. You can see the 6-month comparisons there. Like Candace said, 6 months out of this past fiscal year, we were over $2 million in revenue, gross revenue. So that's good. If we go to the year-to-date, page 4 in the financial report, we are just under 23 million gross revenue, 22,883,699. Our net operating revenue after contractuals and other deductions, adjustments was 14,211,000. Our net expense or total expenses were for the year 15,090,000, and add all that together and sales tax and some other non-operating revenue in there, and we had a $365,823 year-end net income. So it was a good year. Did a little better in break even, and so that was nice. I think,
Real quick before, we talked about this in Finance Committee, I just want to kind of give some props to Kelly and Jaden. They've really done a good job of digging into some things and helping, like you said, our revenue cycle, and of course, we think our surgery's going well, and so knock on wood, we think we're getting there. And again, I think he's being nice, maybe the most money we've ever made in June. I don't remember a lot of Junes we ever made. Summers are usually really, really slow, so I think the surgery is really making a big difference in that. So I just wanted to thank them for their work, along with Candace and the whole crew. But Kelly and Jaden have really kind of answered some of the Finance Committee's questions and dug in, and might take them a little longer than they wanted, but they're getting it answered. So.
the only other thing I was going to add was that we did get our contract back from Blue Cross, and we'll see a 5.5% increase from Blue Cross.
Good job.
We wanted more, but
We tried.
we got more than what they originally offered. But that is all I had.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to item 5, Medical Staff Executive Committee. Dr. Burke.
The Medical Staff Executive Committee met on July the 25th, 2024. And the Medical Staff Credentialing Committee has 2 appointments to bring to the board. The first appointment to courtesy staff is a Dr. Toby Abraham, DO hospitalist, who will be a fill-in for the hospitalist program.
Okay, a motion by Dr. Burke. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Dr. Burke, a second by Dr. Brown to appoint to courtesy staff Toby Abraham, DO. Roll call?
Simon?
Yes.
Mossberg?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Hannaford?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Burke?
Yes. And the next one is an appointment to courtesy staff, Amin Rakesh, MD, psychiatry. He'll be with the Senior Life Solutions program.
Okay, a motion to have a second.
Second.
A motion by Dr. Burke, second by Dr. Brown to approve appointment to courtesy staff Amin Rakesh, MD, psychiatry. Roll call?
Mossberg?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Hannaford?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Burke?
Yes,
Simon?
Yes.
that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Burke. Item 6, QAPI. Any, Candace?
Nothing that really
Kelly?
stands out. It looks like several of them are just working on process improvements. I know SQSS is helping them keep up with that, so I don't see anything that we really need to talk about.
Board members, any questions on QAPI? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 7, improvement to patient care. Candace, I'll let you start with the...
Yeah, it looks like we had 6 tasks, 6 contracts to review. 2 of those were no longer in effect, so we approved 4, reviewed and approved 4 of those. And then on the procedure changes, report, the final remarks, the 4th column, you can see any updates or changes to those policies that were needed. Commented there. I don't think you have one new policy for approval.
Yeah, we've got item B, discussion and action to approve or disapprove the revision report dated June 30th, 2024.
I move to approve the revision report dated June 30th, 2024.
Thank you, Dr. Simon. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Dr. Simon, a second by Mr. Bowman to approve the revisions report dated June 30th, 2024. Any questions? Roll call?
Brown?
Yes.
Hannaford?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Burke?
Yes,
Simon?
Yes.
Mossberg?
Yes.
Okay, and then one more approval for procedure. Anything you want to go over that? Okay.
Nothing in particular.
Do I have a motion to approve the DLO reference laboratory procedure?
I move to approve the DLO reference laboratory procedure.
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Simon. I have a motion by Dr. Simon, I have a second by Mr. Bowman to approve the DLO reference laboratory procedure. Any questions? Roll call?
Hannaford,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item 8, shared convalescence home report, anything?
Kind of, I can go over the financials, well, before, just kind of how things are going, as far as the transition or the sale, but Adam Jordan on July 9th, he officially became the administrator on record for the Share Nursing Home. I spent a couple weeks with him there at the beginning of the month, just kind of showing him where my stuff was, so he knows how to be a nursing home administrator. I don't have to, really teach him any of that, but we did spend a couple weeks kind of getting his footing, and getting him set up to be able to be the administrator there. They've been admitting residents. They've, had, decent census, and so things are, I think going pretty well. Staffing seems to be okay. They've had a little bit of COVID among the staff, but not among the residents. So, as far as the financials go, operating cash for June was $232,000, almost $233,000, and that 16.8 days. Accounts receivable went up $83,000 to $1,039,450. I don't know what happened. Don't have an exciting excuse or anything like that, but Medicaid billing didn't happen for the nursing home in July or June, so that went up, and it did get accomplished. Though it's all our cash balance is today, I think it's around $400,000, and we'll probably finish the month pretty good shape with the nursing home cash. Accounts payable for June is $95,599. It's 12.4 days of operating expenses. Gross patient revenue was $225. It was $11,000 decrease compared to May. Operating expenses were $144,118, and that was $133,000 less than the prior month. And then wages totaled $91,638, which was an increase compared to the prior month. In the prior month, we had done an adjustment for some other stuff. $91,000 is about right where it should be. Net operating loss was $6,961. The total net loss was $6,574. Year to date, the nursing home had a loss of $320,000, which compared to 2023, they had a loss of $464,000. So it was an improvement, still a loss. It's still one of the biggest factors in why we're selling it. So, any questions about the nursing
Any
home?
questions? Okay, homestead report.
Homestead, golly, we're having kind of a tough time right now. I don't know if anybody's heard, but our elevator went down. Guess we're going on about 2 weeks now, and the Department of Labor had just been out and done the inspection, and the next week the motor burns up and they can't get a motor. So we're waiting on. I mean, we got same day response from the elevator company. They came out, on a Sunday and checked everything out, and the next morning got the parts ordered. On Monday morning got the parts ordered, but they just have been having trouble getting that motor. So it's been quite inconvenient for the residents, and the staff are doing what they can to, deliver their mail or meals or whatever for those that aren't able to use the stairs. So, but that's, we're hopeful that that's taken care of by the end of this week. The report we're getting from where the motor is and the other parts, we hope this week that that'll be taken care of.
Who is the company?
Kone, K-O-N-E. I'll leave that. That's who the company is.
Okay.
Tanya's been showing a lot of apartments though still, and she's had several move in the month of July. And so I feel like, July's, outcomes numbers should be pretty good. For Homestead Financials, they had $65,000 in revenue, and $54,000 in expenses, for a net income of $11,418. Year to date, their net income is $76,000.
Any questions about the homestead? Okay, Kelly, anything on the foundation?
No, sir.
No St. Anthony's reports?
No, Clark was all prepared to come last week, and this week is his board as well, so he's not able to be here.
Well, and city council report.
I don't have much to report. The pool project is moving along nicely. Locust Street is moving along nicely. We've interviewed 2 companies with the third company coming in. It's a economic development company. Going to try to help us swing some businesses in town and get different businesses to relocate or come to northwestern Oklahoma. And we've heard from 2, and we've got a third one, I believe, and that's about it.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Bowman? 13, Chairman's report. All we have is action to approve. I think the book will be going around if it hasn't, but we need to approve our AHA bylaws review for 2024, and there are no changes. So do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the AHA's bylaw review 2024.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. I have a motion by Dr. Brown, second by Mr. Bowman to approve the AHA bylaw review 2024. Roll call?
Bowman,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Hannaford.
Yes. And there is that the,
Right
Yeah.
down the road.
there's a book right there if everybody wants to go ahead and sign that now, and just make sure we pass that and get that back over to me. Any new business? Hearing none.